to Maypole Farm, and today we are going to harvest the last field, just refueling the combine first. Mighty stupidly, I fully refuel it even though we only have a small amount of work to do, so I guess the little rental company provided it fully fueled, so it's not a bad thing to do, just costing us money we don't need to spend. But while we wait for that, I'm going to move the Fiat Agri over to the field with the grain trailer. In fact, it's already there, and we'll get stuck into harvesting this last field of wheat, and then we can return the combine because we've had it leased for quite a while. And something that I don't know if you can do, and if you can, let me know in the comments below, is if you can tell how much it's cost to lease something for the whole time that you've had it leased. So we've harvested 3 fields with this over maybe a month in game, so I'm really curious to know what it's cost to lease. I don't think it's worth hanging on to it with the whole lease to own at this point. Probably not the combine I would buy. It's been a nice combine to use, but I don't think it's worth laying out the cash on it to keep. If we're going to buy something, I'd ideally like a much wider header, so we'll probably wait until we've got access to something a little bit more modern in a game year or so. Yeah, it's done a great job. It's really nice having some more Deutz kit to play with. I think this is an edited version of a base game one, so it's not like it's anything amazingly new, but yeah. So this is attempt number 3 at starting this because, yeah, tech issues. I'm using the complete new setup now, so we've got the new desk riser in, and this is the first time I've plugged everything in since I've done that, and it's really cool. It's borderline too high for the displays, but I could always get a little bit chopped off the legs. So yeah, we're going to do a few headlands just to make some space to turn. I'll do probably a couple on the long runs and then 4 on the short rows just to give us more space to actually turn once we get into the up down rows. I generally don't just run laps around the field. I tend to do something like this. So the runs on the long rows are just to give us space to turn, so that we can do the actual headlands on the short runs. I assume that's kind of realistic. Who knows? Not something that you actually see focused on too much with the old YouTube videos. Probably a good point to say thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. Appreciate you all supporting the channel. You are all awesome. Yeah, I thought I'd sneak it in early this time because normally I leave that quite late. So yeah, get it done early just to show that, you know, the people that maybe don't watch the whole video can see that those things exist. If you do see them and you're interested, then yeah, go check them out, because you should, because you get extra stuff. Anyway, let's get the headlands done and then get to work. So it's middle of the first week of my Christmas holidays. It's kind of later in the first week actually, and yeah, got spare room tidied up like I'd planned to, and then not really done very much because that was kind of exhausting and actually feeling a bit under the weather today. So we'll see how that develops. Hopefully not going to end up ill for Christmas Day, because that would suck. We are out with the in-laws on Christmas Day, and then Boxing Day we go to my parents. So yeah, it would be nice to not be feeling quite or too rough. So just say doing 4 runs along the short rows to get plenty of space to turn is something that I'm usually quite bad at. So trying to be a bit better. There's lots of room to turn, and then we're going to run up this long edge and then repeat the process at the other end, and then we can harvest the field basically. So if you're enjoying the video so far, then don't forget to click the like button. Any comments or questions or whatever, stick them below. And that is the contract on field 117 done. There are a few more cropping up, so we'll probably get a few more going just to bring some cash in. So we do need to, something is creaking on the desk. I am considering, actually planning, wanting to replace the other Fiat tractor, the 1300. So the issues that I've been having with it are kind of stopping. It just won't accelerate at all. Kartek's been having it as well. He uses it as his feeder tractor. So it's not a mod conflict by the sound of it. I should really get in touch with Modelisha because he's part of the farming agency and see if he has any ideas about why it's causing a problem. But I've decided for now to replace that tractor so we could do with some cash. I have a couple of ideas in mind that I mentioned in last week's Patreon video, so we'll see what feedback those guys give. In fact, I may have only mentioned one idea in that. So, but yeah, I have a couple of things planned. We're not going to replace it in this video, so we do need to get the hay cut today as well. They're just running along between contracts. Thankfully, there is no traffic about because this thing is huge. It's not really suited to the UK roads, but I thought I'd show you just running past one of the farms with its herd of sheep, flock of sheep. And what I noticed was quite cool is because Maypole is set up for grazing all the way around, these animals are actually grazing, so they're getting feed, which is cool. Actually, interesting update today, which may affect how well that works and may change how you have to do it. I've been using I'm not using it on here, but on Attingham and Frailing, which is the series for the patrons, I've been using the enhanced animal system. And that has a feature now where if your animals get to 0% health, there is a chance they will die. Now, I've been exploiting the fact that they don't die certainly on Attingham, to have other animals in other fields where they're not getting any feed. So there may be, if you're using that, you may have to do something to make sure that your animals have some feed or replace them if they die. I think it's a really good addition. It's something, it's part of seasons in FS19. And yeah, the fact that it's been added into the game as an option, you can choose whether you enable it or not within the enhanced animal system. I've not loaded it up yet to look. I was just reading the changelog as it was updated on ModHub. I think it's a really cool addition. It was one of the features of Seasons which was missing, and I am guilty of exploiting the fact that on Attingham I have a field full of beef cattle that I am not feeding because I don't need to, because they don't die. So yeah, it's kind of cool. I will be enabling it. So yeah, it's going to change how I do things slightly. And actually, it's one of the things that I'm quite funny about with Maize Plus, and I should maybe have stuck to it myself, is that not everything in the game needs to be forced upon you for you to do it. Like with TMR in Maize Plus, the realistic version only needs grass and maize silage, and so it's like, why have all the other ingredients? Because you can choose to put them in. The same as what I've been doing, what I've done on Attingham, and we're going to do on here with the hay drying. I'm choosing to make it more difficult and take longer rather than just using the game mechanic. So I guess I need to follow my own advice sometimes. Just one of those things. But yeah, I don't think I have it enabled on here, but probably will enable. Maybe not. We don't really need any of the other benefits of the enhanced animal system on here. I'll have a ponder on that. Anyway, we have done our first cut-in, and I realise that I'm going the wrong way round for these, but I generally don't intend to unload on either of the rows. My goal is to unload at the end, where I've parked the tractor, so in theory I could just go up and down the edge, but it's habit. But I find this is, working solo, this is one of the better ways of doing things, and both the workers are now busy on contracts, so we have a contract in field 99 and 27 running, so don't have anyone to stick on auto drive to cart for me, so having to do it all ourselves. And yeah, I found the best way of doing that in the past is park the tractor somewhere where you go past it every time, because then you can just empty every time you go past it, or as you need to. Depends on the yield of the field. The yield on here is not bad. I'm guessing it's over 100%, which is pretty good considering we're doing the whole imprecise farming thing. We have one more year in, into year 2 now, so 11 months in the 80s/early 90s, and then we'll progress to the 90, all of the 90s. And I'm kind of looking forward to that because there's a bunch of tractors that I really want to use that are like late 90s tractors. So we might see a complete refresh if I can afford it. Or I could hold out. I could just lease, because the Fiat 1300 is on lease to own, so I can just return that at no cost apart from the fact that I've paid to lease it. And I might do the same actually for the next game year, because I know maybe I can look at buying something slightly more modern in the future. Yeah, I like that idea actually. Definitely going to have a think about that. This is the first video that I'm doing after I recorded the Timberborn video, and that went down surprisingly well. I was quite pleased with that. It's actually got more views than the last Attigan video. I think the whole Christmas holiday period is slowing down YouTube. So anyway, first trailer full tipped. I think that was just the first trailer full, and back for the second one. Most of the field done now. Not sure if we're going to put the rake round or the windrow around or not to tidy up the swaths. That might be an idea just to make baling a bit easier. We've got 2 fields of straw to bale. See the canola straw, there was intentionally a lower yield on that. So I might row that as well, just because I kind of have this thing in my head. And I don't think it will quite meet it on here, in that the windrower has to pick up more than 2 swaths for it to be worth sending 2 vehicles around. I don't think it's going to be that on here, so it might actually be more efficient just to bale it all. Apart from the fact that I can course play the windrower. So, but from an efficiency point of view, if you can't pick up more than 2 swaths, it's not worth sending 2 tractors around the field, in my mind. Which George Saunders, farmer on YouTube, they don't windrow, they mow and then bale the rows that they mow, and this for the same reason. To windrow is an extra tractor with an extra driver and extra fuel being burnt. So yeah, maybe I won't bother. Maybe I'll just run around and bale it. It's a lot of swaths though. It's a lot of swaths. 2 contracts nearly done. I don't think I picked up any more, so yeah, those will be done, and we can claim those and get some cash back in, because the money's been going down a little bit. Not sure why actually, because we shouldn't be paying any wages. I get rental cost maybe. We might. We think we ticked over the hour on the combine. Yeah, that'll be it. That will have cost us some money. Once we've done this, we're actually going to go and mow the hay in the evening. I'll talk about why that is in a moment. We'll just get this combining finished first and get the combine unloaded. Yeah, I think we've got a decent amount of there, and the precision farming yield graph looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. We can, once we've entered the combine, we can get that picked up by the dealer and get that returned. So, while I think about it, if you are interested in picking up any of the Giants DLCs or Season Pass 2 or Season Pass 1, don't forget to use code DISTURBED, because I don't get a huge amount from it. My goal for that is to get bronze partner with Giants, so that I get early access to the DLC previews and stuff, because that would be kind of cool. But we're way off that yet, so yeah, if you're thinking of picking up any of the DLCs or Platinum Edition or the Season Pass, then please use code DISTURBED, because it doesn't cost you any more, helps me out a bit in the long run. Right, let's get this trailer load back. I think we got about 20,000 litres of wheat off of there, so a trailer and a half, which is not too bad. What I'm going to do with that is to sell it, and when the price is good, and use the profits to buy grain mix to feed the cows through the winter. It's much more efficient to bulk buy the grain mix, I think. Still, I need to check actually, because the price has changed with one of the updates, so I'll need to check that. It might actually be cheaper to mix our own, because I think we have all the ingredients. I think so. we would need to get a mill in. We could use the small one from Ursenrainer. That would probably work quite well. Let's just check. Yeah, we've got all the components, so we could make our own up. I'll have a look. It might be that it's actually now with the change in prices for things, it might be better value to mix our own. So yeah, we're going to cut the hay, and this is partly the result of me doing some Googling, and I have not confirmed this with any of the real farmers that I know, but Dr. or Farmer Google says that the best time to cut hay is in the evening. Actually, it says after dark, but that wouldn't work so well because the grass has absorbed all the nutrients it's going to through the day, you know, from sunlight and all that kind of stuff. And before it uses those up in the night time, you cut it so that they're in the grass. So that's what we're trying to do. Obviously, in game it makes no difference, but it kind of works because I can get it done at the end of a video, and yeah, we can then leave this to sit overnight to hopefully dry. The weather is pretty good. It's 30 odd degrees in game, which is kind of nuts for the UK. So yeah, that should hopefully dry overnight, and then we will have hay and straw to bale in the next video. I'll be leaving some for indirect grazing for the next few months while the grass is still growing. I really need to check when it's going to stop. I should know because I made the geo for this map, but I've forgotten. So, but yeah, once the grass stops, we'll be back to feeding bales and sugar beets and grain mix. So yeah. But for now, we're doing the indirect grazing, which is working really well. That is all of the contracts done. So there should be a fairly big chunk of money sitting waiting for us to collect there. Just knocked something off the desk, so let's have a look. So what's that? I think we were at about 19 grand. I'm not going to try and add these up as I go, and I haven't pre-added them up. So yeah, we about 22,000. That's pretty nice actually. It's quite a lot of ploughing that the obviously Courseplay did, but you know, we're paying workers' salaries, so they have to work, and while there's nothing to do on our farm, we can get them working for other farmers. That's the whole part of the premise of this series and how we're making cash, because playing on hard difficulty, it's much harder to have money coming in. So aside from contracts, the only real income we have is from the milk, which is not a bad amount of money actually, and is growing. I think next month or the month after, the second lot of cows should be producing milk, so that will be pretty cool. And we might have some calves to sell off as well, because I think I am going to sell those. I don't think they're worth keeping. If we're going to expand the herd, it's better to buy some older animals, I think, and get milk slightly sooner. So yeah, we're going to leave that side of the field. Some of that grass has a bit of growing to do, some of it is mowable, so that will give us our feed for the next few months, and we should get a third cut of this field then for silage in a bit. Not sure we need it, but you can never have too much, and if we find we get to spring and we've got a big excess, then I'll probably sell some and make a bit of cash. Seems like a sensible idea to me. Yeah, so this video is going to come out on Christmas Day, I think, probably. Assuming things go to plan. So yeah, that's kind of, yeah, hope you've had a good day and all that. You may not be watching on Christmas Day, which is why I've not made a big deal of it. I know quite a few people go for the whole get the Christmas trees in, because someone always releases a modded Christmas tree and all that kind of thing, and it's not really me. So yeah, I've lifted the front mower up because I want to try and keep most of what's here for the feeding. I'm just going to drop it down as we get to the headland area there, just to kind of cut the field off nicely. I think this is about the patch that we left for first cut, and that seemed to keep us going for the months in between. So yeah, hopefully that will be plenty of grass. Yeah, it's a really weird time actually. So I generally have quite a long break for Christmas, and It usually hits in the second week, the whole, what day is it? Where are we? But I think because we have a lot less going on at home at the moment, I've already got into the I'm not really sure what day of the week it is kind of thing. Yeah, so I spent, I think it was 5.5 hours on Tuesday clearing out the spare room, reorganising the desk, reorganising all the drawers and stuff, and yeah, 5.5 hours of doing that was pretty exhausting. I've still got a whole load of stuff to put in the loft, or attic, depending on where you're from, and I still have to tidy that out, and I still have Mrs. old grooming parlour to tidy. So yeah, lots still to get done, and lots of stuff to take to the tip still, I suspect. I ended up with a car full, pretty much. I don't have the biggest car in the world, but yeah, I completely filled my car with rubbish from one room. I found floor in here. No, there aren't any pictures of before, and there aren't really any pictures of after. There is one, just to show off the desk riser that my dad made for me, because I think it's really cool. I think it's going to really help my posture and the, keeping my neck straight, which is a big problem for me because I get a lot of neck pain. So I think it's going to help with that because they're much higher, so I'm forced to sit up straighter. Most of the mowing is done, so yeah, we're going to leave this overnight to dry. I can't remember if I spoke about this in the previous Maypole video, but yeah, to simulate the season's drying mechanic that we don't have anymore, off camera I'm going to TED it. So if you're wondering how is his hay drying on its own, it's not, I'm just simulating it. So for you it will appear to have dried overnight. For me, I'll have driven a tractor around in the dark, probably. A little bit of suspension of disbelief just because I really miss that mechanic. So, it's a way of simulating it for me. But I know if I don't mention how I've done it, someone will ask, how's your hay drying without you doing anything? And so I thought I'd better explain it, and I'll probably explain it in the next video as well. And then maybe not after that. Maybe it'll appear to be magic and mysterious. Yeah, it's a mechanic I really miss from real seasons. It's a shame it was left out of Seasons Light, along with most of the features. Actually, I mean, what features did we really get? We got weather. We got more variable weather, I guess, and we got a growth calendar. Am I missing anything? I'm not sure I am. Withering and all, I guess withering's part of the growth, but all of the things that were really good about Seasons are not in Seasons Light. We've got some of the changes with Maze Plus with the animal system, but not all of them. The enhanced animal systems brought some of those changes in as well. But yeah, there's a lot missing still. Hopefully it will come back with various mods and things. So eventually, and that's one of the things that I said before about supporting giants with season passes and things. That means the game lives longer and modders have more time to make these cool mods. So yeah, that's why I am keen that people, even if the season pass doesn't necessarily have the things in it that you love, if you support giants, it means the game stays around for longer, which is always a good thing. Yes, I did hit the hedge. And this is what I was saying about the tractor now not moving. My foot is flat to the floor. We're on 2100 RPM and doing 0 miles per hour. The only way I can get it to fix itself is to save and reload the game. I thought it was a mod conflict, but because Cartech is having the same issue, and I'm pretty sure we aren't running the same set of mods, I think it's probably more likely an issue with the tractor. The downside of me saving and reloading is I forgot to turn the conditioner back on the mower. Hopefully that bit will dry as well. Wink, wink. So we can fold up the rear mower now because we've just got this little strip to do up the front, up the middle, whatever. And probably a good time to say thanks for watching, guys. Hope you did enjoy the video, guys and girls. There are a few girls that watch, according to my YouTube analytics. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button, comment questions or suggestions below. And if you're not already, and you've enjoyed the video and you've watched this far, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because you'll get notifications of all of my other videos. And I will see you next time on Maypole Farm.